Automatically.
I'm just, getting close to that.
You're gonna be my IT man.
You might have to nudge me.
I know, enough to get you in trouble.
I can get myself in trouble here.
If I start seeing heads nodding around the room, I'll be adjourned the meeting.
Testing.
We can hear you.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome everybody to tonight's meeting of the Sunnyside City Council regular meeting for Monday, March 14, 2022. I'm going to ask the clerk to do the roll call, please.
Mayor Boersma,
I'm here.
Councilor Beeler,
Here.
Councilor Farmer,
Here.
Councilor Ripley,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Restucci, Councilor Hicks,
Here.
Councilor Hart,
Here.
Interim City Manager Alba,
Here.
City Clerk Renteria, I am here. Finance and Administrative Services Director Horner,
Here.
Fire Chief Anderson,
I'm here.
Police Chief Escalera,
I'm here.
Public Works Director Fisher.
I'm here.
Perfect. We just have Deputy Mayor Restucci not here yet.
He is aware of the meeting. We spoke earlier today, so we'll give him a chance to log in if he's having some trouble, and we can revisit this again at the end of the agenda if he hasn't shown up. So. All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. First item of business, we have somebody here for the invocation. I'd like to ask everybody to please stand then, and then after the invocation, I'd like you to remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you for having me this evening. I'm Deacon Kerry Charlie from St. Joseph Church. Almighty God, may your grace cover each aspect of this meeting. We pray that all voices will be heard and that there will be a mindset of inclusivity. May this be a safe space for people to express their opinions and a place where ideas matter more than titles. May everyone be engaged and involved, and may all concerns be addressed. And may each member of this council feel valued, and may each recognize the skill sets and knowledge that each person brings to the table. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. First item of business, consent agenda, payroll vouchers. Approved payroll voucher number is 1190. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Thank you, sir. You are correct. I turned the page and didn't see it. We have first item there is public comments. Does anyone here in the audience wish to give a public comment to council? If so, please stand, approach the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and you will have 3 minutes.
Jim Stevens, 328 Grandview Avenue. Council, everyone, thank you for the opportunity here. Last week, I addressed the council regarding the crime that we had in the community, and the kind of baseline was essentially this broken window theory that is taking care of some of the small crimes that lead to larger crimes. And I can tell you that the city is doing that. Code enforcement is out, making this happen. And I know it was like bang, bang, that was Monday night. Thursday, I got my vehicle back. It was, so, yeah, wow, way to go. So, I did have a good excuse to be able to be in that. The irrigation department was working on my street and made me tow it around the front. But at any rate, it is happening. We have a lot of issues that the safety meeting has. All the forces here that we need to get our community back. Last thing we need is finger pointing from anyone. Everyone's trying to do the very best we can. I think we all come together and try to get the community, the council, the police force. I think we can make this happen. Stephen saying.
Other members of the public wish to address council? Seeing none, let's move on. Now, consent agenda, payroll vouchers. Okay, approve payroll vouchers number 119060 through 119064, and wire transfers as listed for $591,009.36 for the period ending on February 25, 2022. B claim vouchers, approved claim vouchers 103159 through 103189, and wire transfers as listed for $89,201.73 for the period ending on March 2, 2022. Council members, any comments on the consent agenda? Any items you'd like to hold or discuss? Hearing none, what is the desire of council here?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilor Beeler, second by Councilor Hicks. Any debate on this item? Hearing none, will the city clerk please do the roll call vote?
Counselor Ripley,
I approve.
Mayor Broersma,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci. Not here yet. Counselor Beeler,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Hart, Counselor Hart, oh no, it looks like she logged off, so you have 5 yes votes.
All right, and I see that Deputy Mayor has logged in.
That is correct, Mr. Mayor. I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Deputy Mayor, we just had the vote on the consent agenda. I don't know if you've had a chance to look over that yet.
I would move to approve it, Mr. Mayor, if you haven't already done so.
Yours was the second to last vote. All right, thank you. Next item is the active agenda. Council, if there's no objection, I'd like to call an executive session. I know it's not on the agenda right now. The purpose of the executive session is to look over the city manager's evaluation for final approval, and we probably need about 10 minutes. No objection? All right, then we will move to executive session, and action may be action. That's what I wanted to say. All right, so we'll take 10 minutes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
chapter and verse.
Chapter
Gotta
verse,
tell
I don't-
RCW, chapter and verse, why we're going into executive session.
I do not have that in front of me. Can you help me out with that?
Council, you want to go into executive session pursuant to RCW 4230-110-1G for 10 minutes with action expected.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll need to exit the chambers because we said we need to stay on Zoom while we fill out.
All right. So I'm gonna pass it down as soon as they're out.
Your own Zoom, where you could broadcast. Was that what they can?
All right. Okay. Okay, everything's streaming, the meeting's back to being recorded, and everyone's back in now.
All right, thank you. We are back in open session. Thank you, everybody, for your patience on this. I know it wasn't on the agenda, but it was something that was necessary to do tonight. On the item of the executive session, RCW 42311T, council, what is the desire, council?
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilor Ripley.
Counselor Wheeler, second.
Councilor Wheeler is second. Any debate on this item? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk, would you go down the roll call for the vote, please?
Councillor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor Burisma,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci,
Yes.
Councillor Beeler,
Yes.
Councillor Hicks,
Yes.
Councillor Farmer,
Yes.
Councillor Hart,
Councilor Hart, you're
Councillor
muted.
Hart.
You're muted, Julia.
Yes. Did you?
Thank you so much. Mayor, there's 7 yes votes.
Thank you. I'm just going to, yes. So for the audience information, and I'm sorry, some of these things have to be conducted in executive session so that council feels free to discuss freely. What we've just done is we've passed the approval of the city manager's evaluation for her 6 months on the job. Our next step will be to offer her a contract at a later date, but I am going to pass this over to the city manager, and I have one copy that's going to be available for the media as well. For everyone's information, the manager in her initial 6 months as interim manager has done an excellent job. As council, we're very pleased. And we just want the public to know that we're very happy with our public employees. She is someone who has excelled, and we feel very good about continuing. Our next step will be to offer her a contract once I get that finalized, now that my computer is functioning like a computer and not like a doorstop. So we will be making that step in the near future. All right, next item on the agenda, item A, Community and Economic Development Director. Consider authorizing the creation of a position of Community and Economic Development Director. Madam City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Burisma. I would pass this over to Jameson. She did most of the work on this, and I would like her to present the item.
Thank you, Madam City Manager. We discussed the next 4 items, this one and the next 3, at the study session last week, and had some discussion about which ones we were going to bring back and which ones we weren't for these 4 positions. And the city manager just requested that I go ahead and bring them all back and give you guys the opportunity to vote them up, vote them down, and then we can move on. So the first one, just to go over again, is the Economic and Community Development Director position. So due to community growth in the city, we are requesting the creation of a position of Community and Economic Development Director to replace the Planning Supervisor position, which will become vacant following the retirement of our current Planning Supervisor. In addition to the current responsibilities, the supervisor will work with other community entities to work on economic development in and around the city. The director would be the point of contact for property owners, developers, surveyors, and consultants concerning development and the varied aspects of proposed projects. And the director will take part in business and land use strategy and analysis and help steer development in the city in accordance with the strategy of the council and the planning commission. For the remainder of the year, the financial impact for this position change is $16,000. And I'm happy to answer any questions. The job description was attached.
Council members, any questions? Mr. Deputy Mayor, do you have any questions?
Just one quick question, Mr. Mayor, to the manager regarding, so we are not going to fill the planning supervisor's position, and the person who takes over as Community Economic Development Director is going to serve as a planning supervisor as well? So they're going to have an AICP and they're actually going to do planning documents?
That's correct.
Okay, I don't have any problem with that, Mr. Mayor.
Art, do you have any questions?
I have no questions and I'm in supportive of this move.
Yeah, all right, nobody else jumped forward with questions. I do want to remind everybody that this position is not necessarily going to be filled tomorrow. Remember, we had all said that, crime is our number one priority right now. We want to try to get a handle on that, but we definitely want to be able to be ready to pull the trigger at the right time for when this position is a good idea. And I think we all agree that upcoming, this is a good idea. This needs to be done. Sunnyside got a lot of potential, and we're sitting on that potential right now, and a director of community development is the right way to go in this. So we do have our challenges before us at some levels, but this is definitely a direction that we need to go. That's a positive direction in the future. So that's my feeling on it.
Mr. Mayor, do you mind if I make one more comment?
Go ahead.
I did forget to mention that the salaries for this position and one of the other positions that we'll present haven't been set yet. So even if you were to make this approval tonight, we still have to go back and develop the salary portion and bring that back to council before we even go out for hire for this. So this is just the first step.
That. All right, hearing all of this and no further discussion, what is the desire of council on this?
Move to approve the community and economic development director.
I will second.
It was second by Councilor Hart. Any debate on this item? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk, would you conduct the vote, please?
Counselor Hart,
Yes.
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor Broersma,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci,
Yes.
Counselor Beeler,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks.
Yes.
Mayor, you have 7 yes votes.
Thank you, motion is passed. Item B, Information Technology Specialist. Consider approving a creation of the position of Information Technology Specialist. Madam City Manager.
Again, I will pass this over to Jameson for description and questions.
For this position, the city staff and council has mentioned we've had some issues with our IT services. And so this would be an attempt for the city to take more ownership of the people that provide IT assistance for us. So allowing the city to work directly with training and scheduling, making sure we know when people are on vacations, making sure that they're well-versed in the actual technology things that we use here in the city. Taking them outside of the Yakima Valley Technology Service Contract would also allow us to have them work on other things that aren't necessarily a part of the Yakima County Technology Network. For instance, mobile devices and things that they don't currently assist us with very often. Sometimes they do help us in troubleshoot, but technically that's not part of the contract. So in addition to the request to have us take these on as our own internal staff, we are asking to increase the FTE amount that we have. Right now, the city contracts with Yakima County only offers 1.5 full-time employees. So this would be increasing to 2 full-time employees, which the city does believe, staff does believe is in our best interest. And actually, in talking with Yakima County, if we were to just go ahead and renew the contract with them, they have also said that they believe that the city needs to have 2 full-time staff through their contract or with us having our own. This is another one where at this point, the job description has been created, and the job description does include functions of both the network administrator and more of the workstation support. The salary has not officially been set for this, so we would have to go and look at comps and then bring back a salary proposal to you.
Council, any questions? None here in person. Ms. Hart, do you have any questions?
No questions, but I do believe this is a good move for the community, for the city. We need to have better access to our IT as we continue to grow. So I'm in favor of this motion.
Deputy Mayor Susi.
I would agree with my colleague. This is definitely a direction that we need to go. Did I hear right from Ms. Horner that we have not set the salaries yet for this position?
That's correct. I used the comparables that I have on file from the Association of Washington Cities and some outside other comparables, including Yakima County, to come up with an estimated roundabout number that I'd like to go with, but at this point, it hasn't been set permanently, so.
Okay. Just to caution council, a network administrator, that looks a little low, just so you understand.
Okay, council, any further comments or questions? Hearing none, what is the desire of council on this question?
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor,
All right, Ms. Hart?
I would move to approve the creation of the positions for information technology specialist.
Ms. Ripley beat you to that one.
That's okay, then I'll second.
Very good. All right, so we've got a motion by Councilor Ripley, seconded by Councilor Hart, to authorize the creation of the position of information technology specialist. Is there any debate on this item? Hearing none, I'll ask the city clerk to conduct a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Farmer,
Yeah.
Counselor Hart,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Beeler,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci,
Yes.
Mayor Burisma,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor, there's 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item C, police support supervisor. Consider approving the addition of a police support supervisor in exchange for the open position of receptionist. Madam City Manager.
Again, I will pass this over to Jameson for review and discussion.
This item came to light after we took on the contract for dispatch services for the city of Toppenish. The initial projection of the call volume that we could handle is not, our current staff's not quite cutting it. So the police department has requested to trade in the receptionist position that was authorized for 2022 to be rehired, that had been previously open, to change that into another police support supervisor. So this would give us a police support supervisor that we currently have that would be able to focus more on corrections and create this new position that would focus on dispatch. And the salary for this one is already set because it is a union position. And I don't know if the police department has any insight that they want to add on this position.
Actually, she covered it quite well in the sense that it did come to light, with accepting the contract from the city of Toppenish, and obviously accepting that position or accepting their workload certainly plays a significant workload on the 6 dispatchers that we currently have. And so that's going to have to expand. And doing so, we have one supervisor that is supervising support services with 14 direct reports. And that's 4 different disciplines in those 14 direct reports. And it's just, he does the best he can, but it doesn't actually pay attention to the functions and lend the experience of those that need the help in dispatch. So it does fall in line with what we are currently needing with the growth that we're.
Council members, any questions on this item?
Question, are we gonna get, some costs back from the other towns that we're supporting now?
Yes. Yeah, so the cost back, it does come back on the 2 additional folks that we're hiring, and they will pick up the tab on that. The police supervisor, the support service supervisor, I think, there is a portion of that, correct?
We are going to have to, we signed the initial contract for, I believe it was 5 years. And so we are going to reach out to them and request a renegotiation of the salary portion to cover this new position. And I'm assuming that they, knowing that the cost shouldn't be borne by the citizens of Sunnyside, will be willing to work with us on that.
I believe that we are currently there, we're around 30%. Is that load and probably the expectation in which we will negotiate, so.
Worst case scenario, 5 years.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Correct. Yes, we definitely wouldn't sign a new contract without making sure that this cost is covered.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions?
Yeah, I do. I know that, I have heard comments that we are understaffed for receptionists here in the police department. Is that gonna make it any better or any worse?
Actually, it doesn't really lend to any assistance up front, other than the fact that we might be able to get some people free to assist our receptionists and our records clerk. But again, the records clerk is certainly a discipline in of itself, requires training that goes above and beyond your receptionist. So it will be problematic to some degree, and we will have to at times play a part in facilitating people to sit in that position while that person is out. We are understaffed there, and we are understaffed in other areas of the agency, but that is one place that we do have it. However, with the amount of new hires coming on to facilitate dispatch, too many people for one individual. And we do have to address that with direct supervision of somebody who is within the discipline.
Other questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Mayor, our Deputy Mayor.
No questions, Mr. Mayor, but I would move to approve the addition of a police support supervisor in exchange for the open position of receptionist 2.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Deputy Mayor Risucci, seconded by Councilor Hart to approve the addition of police support supervisor in exchange for the open position of receptionist. Is there any debate on this item? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk, please do the roll call vote.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor Boersma,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci,
Yes.
Counselor Beeler,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Hart.
Yes.
Mayor, there's 7 yes votes.
Thank you, motion passes. Next item, item D, Parks and Recreation Receptionist position. Consider approving the creation of the position of Recreation Receptionist. Madam City Manager.
Again, I will pass this to Jameson so she can discuss.
This would be the creation of a new part-time position, for our Parks and Recreation Coordinator. This would facilitate the community center being open in the afternoons while she's able to develop, some of the other programs she's trying to put into place. The estimated cost for this is, only $16,500. And actually, because we have, the SPEAK, funding for our summer camp program, all of this cost would be covered for fund year 2022. And then we would have to look at, as she builds more programs, what those revenue sources look like to make sure that it was paid for. But, it does require a budget amendment of $16,500. But like I said, there is a offsetting revenue for that.
Council members, questions or comments? And we'll start with Ms. Hart.
Biggest comment is, in order to make this Parks and Rec program be successful, we do need to have someone there to handle the paperwork as it comes up and comes through. I think as a part-time parks receptionist out there is an excellent idea, so we can show that we're open. I think that that'll allow our Parks and Rec supervisor to be able to go out and get more money for different programs while she's establishing programs for the community. So I think this is a very necessary position, and as she's already sought money for it, I think we're in a good standing at this point.
Deputy Mayor Risucci, any comments?
Would agree with my colleague, Ms. Hart. This is a good move and we need to move forward. Suggest supporting it. Thank you.
To my colleagues here in person, any questions or comments?
I think it's something we should look at, but I don't think right now is the time. The coordinator's done a good job. She's been doing it. I think we can get by another year, and then look at this.
Okay, further questions or comments? I know for myself, this is something that, having had kids that are involved in summer sports programs, I know it's a daunting task to manage that sort of thing. The amount of paperwork and that sort of thing that has to be handled is sometimes overwhelming, and then making sure that all the appropriate fees are collected and all the insurances are taken care of and that sort of stuff. So I understand the request. And this is another one that I think is a good idea. So what is the desire of council on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to approve the creation of a position for the Parks and Recreation receptionist.
A motion by Councilor Hart,
I second.
second by Councilor Ripley, to approve the creation of the position of recreation receptionist. Any debate on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to remind people that a part of the issue when we're talking about some of the other issues that are going on in our community, we have a whole community to take care of, and not just, so in order for us to do that, we need to be able to take into consideration what's happening with our youth. And part of the youth issues are having things for them to do. I think the Park and Recreation Director or Supervisor is on a good start, but she needs support. And that's why I'm in favor and hope that the rest of the council will be in favor of this receptionist position.
Ms. Hart, further debate?
Mayor, I would agree with Councilor Hart. We're gonna keep our kids out of trouble. We gotta keep them busy. And this is a funded position. It's not coming out of our pocket. I think this is win-win. Anytime we can give our kids something to do, bring our community together for games and socialization, this is just a win-win, and I would totally support it.
Thank you, sir. Further debate?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I would agree with my colleagues, both Mr. Hart and Mr. Farmer and Ms. Hart. We have a situation where we are trying to attempt to address gangs and criminal activity in our community. And part of addressing gangs is dealing with the three-legged or four-legged stool, as it's sometimes called. And two of those legs are intervention and prevention. And Parks and Recreation are so important with intervention and prevention programs. And so I encourage my colleagues to support this and get this done. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sir? There's no further debate? Hearing none, then Madam City Clerk, would you please conduct the vote?
Mayor Burisma,
Yes.
Councillor Beeler,
No.
Councillor Hicks,
Yes.
Councillor Farmer,
Yes.
Councillor Hart,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci,
Yes.
Councillor Ripley.
Yes.
Mayor, there's 6 yes votes and 1 no vote.
Thank you. With the opinion of the chair, this vote passes. Next, item E, seek job position. Consider approving job descriptions and authorize hiring the staff to operate the Seek Day Camp for summer of 2022. Madam City Manager.
Again, I will pass this to Jameson for review and questions and answers.
Thank you, Madam Manager. This is the summer camp program that our recreation coordinator applied for funds for through AWC, and those funds were awarded for us to offer an 8-week day camp for kids ages 4 through 12 over the summer. So it's very low cost to families. It'll be $10 a day per kid, so that's $50 a week for kids to be involved in activities from 7:30 in the morning until 5 p.m. And those revenues that we collect will offset the additional that the SEEK funds didn't cover. and these are the funds that will pay for that recreation receptionist that you just approved. So the total amount of the budget amendment will be $56,400. But those funds we received from A&C are $40,700. And, so it is offset by the revenue and the grant. These are temporary positions, so they won't go on the actual compensation schedule. So we just need at this point your approval to go ahead and put those out for hire.
Thank you, Councilmember. We're going to start with Deputy Mayor Risucci. Any comments or questions?
As AWC president, Mr. Mayor, I supported this program. I think it's a great program for cities, and I think we should get involved.
Sir, Councilor Hart.
I agree with my esteemed fellow councilman.
Thank you. Council members here present in person, questions or comments? Hearing none, what is the desire of council on this item?
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Councilor Hicks,
Second.
second by Councilor Beeler. To approve job descriptions and authorize hiring of staff to operate the Seek Day Camp for the summer of 2022. Is there debate on this item? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please do the roll call votes?
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Beeler,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Risucci,
Yes.
Mayor Borsma,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
yes,
Counselor Hart.
Yes.
There's 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next item, item F, public hearing on draft Sunnyside comprehensive plan. Review the attached draft comprehensive plan and conduct a public hearing on the draft. After closing the public hearing, provide direction to staff to prepare an ordinance to adopt the draft comprehensive plan at the March 28, 2022 meeting, make changes to the comprehensive plan and schedule it for review and adoption of an ordinance at the March 28, 2022 council meeting, or remand it to the Sunnyside Planning Commission for additional review based on directions provided by the City Council. Introduction. This public hearing is being conducted on the Sunnyside Comprehensive Plan. The concern is that this hearing be fair in form and substance as well as appearance. Council members, do any of you have a conflict of interest concerning this issue? Do any of you stand to gain or lose any financial benefit as a result of the outcome of this hearing? If your answer is yes, please speak now. Council members, can you hear and consider this in a fair and objective manner? If your answer is no, please speak now. Audience members, at this time, we would ask the audience if there's any objections to my participation or any other council member's participation in these proceedings. Public hearing is now open at, I'm guessing, 7:19. City Manager.
I will pass this over to Mike Shuttleworth, who can answer any questions. If anyone from the audience or also would like to ask questions, now's your chance.
Audience members, if you have any questions about the comprehensive plan, we ask that you please approach the podium, state your name, city of residence, and ask your question. Silence is telling its own story. Council members, is there any questions or comments about the comprehensive plan?
I'd just like to thank the Planning Commission for going through this. I know it took a long time. Appreciate it.
I would want to say the same thing, Mr. Mayor. Thank the Planning Commission, as well as the Planning Supervisor. The soon to be retired Mike Shuttleworth, thanks to him, we are moving forward on this, and I'm very happy of that.
Councilor Hart, have you any comments?
I'd just like to echo those previous comments. It's getting the comprehensive plan completed, adopted, will help us in so many ways as we're going forward, looking for further expansion of our community. And having it in place opens a lot of doors. So I'm very pleased with the results of all the planning and all the hard work by both the commission and by the Mr. Shuttleworth.
I would like to echo the comments of my colleagues as well. Having read through that, that was a comprehensive work on that comprehensive plan. You guys did an amazing job. My hat's off to you, Mr. Shuttleworth, and the planning commission. That was not a fast read. You guys went into a lot of detail on that one, and yeah, I think it points us in a good direction for the future. So thank you for your work. All right, this public hearing is now closed at 7:22, I'm sorry. Clock hasn't been changed yet for those who. All right, so not a lot was brought forward other than thank you very much for your hard work. So I don't think we're mandating any changes there. It's not calling for a vote on this. At this point, that'll be the next meeting on the 28th. Well, I guess that means that that's all you gotta do, wait for the vote. Item G, Orchard Avenue Stormwater Task Order. Consider authorizing the city manager to execute task order 2022-05 with HLA Engineering to design the relocation of the undocumented stormwater detention pond on Orchard Avenue in the amount of $25,000. Madam City Manager.
And I will pass this over to Shane Fisher, who is attending the meeting remotely. He is on vacation, but has gladly come in so he could do this.
Fisher.
Thank you, Madam City Manager, Mayor, members of council. So this task order is actually to relocate a stormwater swale that we had found during our preliminary investigation on a new subdivision coming in on the corner of Riverside, Heffron, and Southwest Crescent. Evidently, the houses there on Orchard Avenue, when they were built, I'm not sure how many years ago that was, had to been at least 20. They had poured curb gutter sidewalk, which had created a stormwater conveyance system, and their water ran down Orchard Avenue into the corner, which is private property that actually belongs to Orchard or belongs to Country Gals Estates. So during a few of our walkthroughs out there with the developer, with HLA, we noticed there was a depression in the corner of the property, did some investigating, found out that it actually had been used for their stormwater overflow. So obviously it's on private property. It was never part of the land use. When they short platted and built, there should have been a provision put in there that discussed the stormwater facility, but it did not. So right now we are looking at relocating. I've been working with Stephanie with HLA. We have a couple proposed locations, and so we have to do a complete redesign and to get that stormwater, obviously relocated to another spot. So with that, I can answer any questions.
Council members, any questions on this item? Art, looks like you might have a question.
No, I was just re-looking at it. It seems to me that that's the best way to handle this, so we should move ahead with it.
Any other questions? Deputy Mayor? All right, I just have one comment. I'm kind of surprised that this existed and nobody knew about it. I know those houses were there when I returned to the country in 2003, but they weren't there when I left the area in the 90s, and that was the late 90s. So I'm not sure when those houses were built, but I do know that they were there. I'm kind of surprised that during that period of time, a stormwater situation developed that the city didn't even know about. So I'm disappointed that happened, to be honest. I think we need to be on top of that. It's in our best interest as a city to be able to keep that under control, especially in the light of current political climate where every environmental issue needs to be documented extremely carefully. So I think this is a good idea, a good plan to move forward and get that taken care of before it causes us future problems. What is the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve the Orchard Avenue Stormwater Task Order.
Okay, motion by Councilor Beeler.
Second.
Second.
A second by Councilor Hicks. Just beat you out there, Mr. Ritucci. To authorize the city manager to execute task order 202-05 with HLA Engineering to design the relocation of the undocumented stormwater detention pond on Orchard Avenue in the amount of $25,000. Any debate on this item? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk, would you please conduct the roll call vote?
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor Burisma,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci,
Yes.
Counselor Beeler,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Hart.
Yes.
Mayor, there's 7 yes votes.
Madam, the motion passes. Next item, item H, sewer plant update task order. Consider authorizing the city manager to execute task order 2022-04 with HLA Engineering to update our general sewer plan in the amount of $60,000. Madam City Manager.
And again, I will pass this over to Public Works Director Shane Fisher for questions and review.
Thank you, Madam City Manager, Mayor, members of council. So this task order is actually to update our general sewer plan. We last had ours done in 2016. There really is no timeline that ecology gives us for updates, but it's good to update them every, 5 to 7, 8 years, something like that. You go 10 years, you're probably stretching it. And of course, as you're all aware, with the sewer changes that we're making and starting to decommission some of these lift stations, all those updates have to be put into the plan and given to ecology to approve whenever we change our basin flows, which is a lot of people think that when sewer goes into a manhole or goes into the system, it kind of eventually makes its way to the wastewater plant, but they actually go into what they call basins. So there's certain areas that with the removal of some of our lift stations are going to change how those basins are configured. So we want to make sure that we get that updated as part of this plan. Obviously, we know that it's going to be 2 or 3 years before we actually get all the lift stations decommissioned and turned into gravity. But the plan will reflect that's our plan, and we will put that in that so that it reflects, us moving forward in the next, 5 to 10 years. So with that, I can answer any questions.
Council members, questions or comments on this item? None here. How about our Zoom participants? Mr. Deputy Mayor?
No questions, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Hart?
I like the idea of keeping ahead of these things so that we don't fall behind on what we may need to do in the future. So I'm glad that you're staying on top of this.
I agree with Ms. Hart on that one. Staying abreast of things and keeping things current is always a good idea. It's really easy to fall behind. What is the desire of council on this item?
Authorize the city manager to execute a task order 2022-04 with HLA Engineering to update our general sewer plan in the amount of $60,000.
I'll second that.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Restucci, second by Councilor Hart. To authorize city manager to execute task order 2022-04 with HLA Engineering to update our general sewer plan in the amount of $60,000. Debate on this item? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk, please conduct a vote.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci,
Yes.
Mayor Burisma,
Yes.
Counselor Beeler,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Hart.
Yes.
Mayor, there's 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item I, City Safety Plan Amendment. Consider approving task order 2021-01 to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with HLA Engineering to develop a city safety plan in the amount of $17,000. Madam City Manager.
Again, I will pass this over to Public Works Director Shane Fisher for review and consideration.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam City Manager, Mayor, members of council. So this is actually an update and an amendment to our city safety plan. We had actually gone over budget on this project. So when we went through and started evaluating some of our mitigation measures, as I brought to City Council a meeting or two ago, we had talked about all the projects, actually it was last meeting, and to submit a funding application for all the different, with 3 or 4 different intersections with roundabouts. All the design work and doing the scopes of work for roundabouts as opposed to doing smaller mitigation measures are much more simple. When you have to do a cost estimate to do a roundabout with all the railroad and all those potential issues, when you put those cost estimates together for each one of those projects, which is part of the funding application, they are very labor intensive. So what we're asking for tonight is to amend that task order with HLA, and it's for an increase of $13,300 to cover those costs. And with that, I can answer any questions.
Council members, any questions or comments on this item? Our Zoom participants, Councilor Hart.
I think that that's a worthy cause. And if those are the costs that we need to keep our transportation flow safe, then I say we go for it.
Deputy Mayor Risucci.
No questions or comments, Mr. Mayor.
I have no questions or comments either. What is the desire of council on this item?
Councilor Beeler, move to approve the city safety plan amendment.
Motion by Councilor Beeler.
Second.
Motion, or second by Councilor Ripley. To approve task order 2021-01 and authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with HLA Engineering to develop a city safety plan in the amount of $17,000. Madam City Clerk, vote.
Councilor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor Borza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci,
Yes.
Councilor Beeler,
Yes.
Councilor Hicks,
Yes.
Councilor Farmer,
Yes.
Councilor Hart.
Yes.
Mayor, there's 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next item, and 4 items from council members. First up there is mayor's appointments for boards and commissions. I haven't received anything. If you do know someone who is willing or would like to serve on a board or commission in the city of Sunnyside, we do have some vacancies, and I would encourage you to help them or encourage them to get in contact with either myself or with the city manager. And we'd like to see some of these positions filled. And there are many capable people in the city of Sunnyside, and I'd sure like to see them participate. We've got a lot of talent here. I'd sure like to see that exercise. So,
Mr. Mayor, can we make some kind of a public announcement? I don't think a lot of people even know about these openings. We could have some kind of PSA regarding open positions for boards.
you know, I think we've got two options, Mr. Farmer, and we can exercise both of them. We've got social media. More and more people are getting their news via social media, and I noticed that the Sunnyside page links to many other pages, and I know, is this the one that was on, is this the one that's on the screen? Is it the one that was on social media? Okay, so that one appeared recently on social media. It might not be a horrible idea to take out an ad in the Daily Sun, Sunnyside Sun, and go in that direction as well, and also that will probably appear if it isn't already on our webpage. But yeah, we need to get this in front of people, and yeah, without a daily newspaper anymore, it's hard to get that in front of everybody on a daily basis. But it's certainly there on our social media pages, and if we can encourage people who are on our social media, on the city Facebook page, to share that to their page to get that information out, that would be helpful as well. But Mr. Farmer is correct. We really need to get these filled. We've got 3 3 seats open yet on the Community and Economic Development Commission, 1 seat on the Board of Parks and Recreation, and 1 seat on Planning Commission. We certainly like to see folks in there, especially if you know young people who are wondering whether they should get involved in the city, get involved in council someday in the future. This is a great opportunity then to learn about the city, so.
And Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I sent over one that we received last week for the Community and Economic Development Commission. So you just review that one in your email.
Thank you, yes, and I haven't been able to access my computer for a week, so I will check that out, probably see that later this evening. So thank you for that information. Next item, council request status report. City Manager.
So we're still working on the tree replacement plan. The weather has gotten nice, so now all of our parks are starting to need attention. And along with code enforcement, our parks maintenance actually paints graffiti. Well, sometimes they paint it on Friday and then paint it again. So it has been taking a lot more time. So I did want to put that out there, and they are trying to get the graffiti as a priority, because I really don't want to see graffiti in our town. So Roger Brooks, we are still working on the sign ordinance. That is something that Mike Shuttleworth has in motion. It's being reviewed by our code enforcement, and as soon as it's ready, we'll bring that forward to council as part of the Roger Brooks suggestion. And then the prosecutor RFP, we only received one candidate, I guess I could call it. And so at the suggestion of Judge Lee, we extended the date by 1 week. So the date has been extended till Friday the 18th. And it has been placed on Yakima County, what do they call it? It's basically the attorneys kind of in board, or their whiteboard for different things. So we're hoping that we get interest. Judge Lee did mention that there were people interested. They just didn't see the notice in time. So that's going out. And then the water tower project and the speed limit projects are ones we're just waiting for weather.
Very good. Is there any items that council members would like to add to the council request status report? If not, let's move on. Item C, other reports, announcements, and or questions by council. Council members. Yes.
It's for Mr. Fisher there. Do we plan on chip sealing Yakima Valley Highway by Walmart to Pick a Pop gas station? The craters there are getting pretty bad.
Fisher,
Where at? What stretch of road?
Yakima Valley Highway from Pick a Pop to Walmart.
Oh, from 16th
Pick a
to,
Pop.
that's
16th
16th and YVH. Used to be Made of Clover.
Oh, gotcha. Well, we have on our 6-year tip, we have a TIB grant that we're looking to try to get funded to grind and overlay from basically from McDonald's to Pizza Hut. That's the last section of YVH, besides the far other end, that we haven't ground and overlaid yet. So the other road, I'm not sure if we'll chip seal that this year. I'll have to get with Jaime. I'm not sure what's on his street plan for this year. It's still a little early. So, but I can find out and get back with you.
A question.
Mr. Beeler.
Community center. I was driving to out First Street there, and there's a lot of either gopher or mole holes. What do we do about those?
Mr. Fisher, would you like
Well,
to address gophers?
We bait them sometimes. It just depends. We have on and off years for gophers. But yeah, generally they'll try to poison them. We'll try to bait them out of there. We do have a device we've used in the years past where we try to use a percussion device that keeps them from from wanting to be in those areas. It's a propane unit. But yeah, we have several measures we use, and yeah, it's that time of year, so they're all coming out of a lot of the adjacent farmland and stuff that will start to get plowed now. All those gophers will now come to the city parks until those crops get going, and then they'll hit both. But for right now, coming up this spring, we'll start baiting them and start pushing them out best we can.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
I'm channeling my Bill Murray here. You said gophers, not golfers, correct?
That is correct, gophers, a little four-legged animal. Now you just put a picture in my head, sir, thank you.
David Caddyshack.
All right, other questions from council members?
Mr. Mayor, we did have a public safety meeting today. I would kind of like some kind of report on the department head could do it, or?
I was gonna come to that as soon as council members had their opportunity to report, so. There's no other council members that have anything else to report or ask.
Mr.
Public
Mayor.
safety-
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I've got one item to remind council. The YVCOG general membership meeting will be held Wednesday, March 16th. The virtual meeting room will be opened at 5:50 p.m. So those delegates, please make sure that if you don't have your information, I'll make sure I get it to you.
Could you make sure?
Sure, yeah. I know the email server and everything's been down, so I'll forward everything. Do you want me to forward it to your personal, Julia?
No, I think you can send it to my laptop. I'm getting my stuff now.
Okay, great. Mr. Mayor, are you okay now?
Am I okay? I think so.
Okay.
Well,
Email
we're
wise,
not
sir.
sure about that though, if you're okay.
I'm often asked by people in different contexts, sir, but yes, I did finally manage to get access to my computer this afternoon, and I was able to check that I was able to access my email, but I haven't been able to read any of it yet because I haven't had time. But yeah,
Okay.
my email.
And then I believe, Miss Ripley, you're the alternate for the COG, or is that correct?
Yes, I got my email.
Okay, great, perfect. I'll make sure you get it as well. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right. Whenever people ask me if I'm okay, I have to stop and ask about the context, so. All right, so yes, the Public Safety Committee did meet this evening. We scheduled a meeting for 4:30, hoping we would have enough time to cover all of the information that we needed to, and we did not. So we scheduled a second meeting for tomorrow afternoon at 4:30, also to be held here at the police conference room. So the things that we did manage to cover today, we received a report from a company called Verkada. It's a camera company, a surveillance company, place cameras in various places throughout the city, and that data can be recorded. It's stored on the cloud. It can be stored indefinitely, so we can go back a year later or more and check those records if we need to. The ability to track an individual or a vehicle using this technology is absolutely amazing. It's almost a little scary, to be honest. They had a demonstration, and I felt a little nervous because the demonstration was follow a man in a red shirt. That was me, but no, it actually was able to follow that individual around. It looks for that person, and we can do the same with a car. We will be receiving information from other camera companies that are able to do that sort of thing as well. We weren't able to get prices from them tonight, but it's an interesting concept to look forward to. So that's something that we're considering. We did receive a report from the fire chief, and he gave us some information on things that are going on at the fire department. And then we received a rather in-depth report from the police department concerning their situation, whether it's from the legislative side, what's happened in the state of Washington to change policing, and what they're able to do and not able to do anymore. We've got more studying to do on that. There were several other issues. We discussed a strategic plan and a tactical plan. Some of the issues that we've talked about this evening, one of them is violence. We've seen a 267% increase from last year for year to date. So from the first of the year to the middle of March last year to this year, 267% increase in violence. That is not acceptable to anybody in this room or anybody in this city. And so we're doing what we're looking on staffing and equipment, and then legislative restrictions. We have a report to read and try to get through that before tomorrow. Not a lot of solutions that we can offer you at this point because we haven't reached that part of the discussion. And I don't know, Chief, if you want to add something to that, but I know members of the audience here this evening are here because they want to hear how we're doing and what we're doing and that we're doing something. So, yeah, we made a good start. Go ahead, Chief, if you have something to add.
Thank you. We did discuss a lot of things. There are things that we haven't discussed yet, and that is significant staffing issues and the plan itself. And the plan itself is something that I gave council today. It's something that I had drafted, put together for the Public Safety Committee to review. But it does outline the plan as to how we're going to reduce crime in the city. And we do have to understand, tactics and strategies are two different things. And, tactical is for now, it is something that is very short term and unsustainable. And strategy is long term and is meant to be sustainable. So we continue to work with that. And, I'm confident in the business or in the policing model that I selected in order to make this happen. It does fit a lot of the issues that we're covering now, and I kind of infused other things in there. It's kind of step by step in this particular report. So we have currently enacted some tactical deployment over the last 2 weekends. Has proven successful. And though we were busy, there's no question that we were busy, but nothing there, I don't want to say that, I'm going to knock off the wood here, but no shootings in those, in the last couple of weeks. And again, that is a tactical move, and I won't disclose a lot of the things that we're doing. However, it is effective, but it's not sustainable. We don't. So anyhow, tomorrow we're going to get into more of the plan. We're going to get into the staffing issues that we face, but also the collaboration that is involved in this plan is impressive, but it's taxing on everyone. So we do have to understand that there are things that look good on paper, and it doesn't mean that they're always available to you. And though we might have partnerships and we're collaborating with federal agencies or whoever it may be, doesn't mean that they can drop the ball and just come to you when you call them. So everybody has their own piece of this pie, and all communities are affected by spikes in criminal activity, and we're all out here trying to help each other, so we're spread pretty thin. But tomorrow we'll cover more, and there'll be more to report in the future.
Thank you, sir. Council members, any other things or questions or comments that you'd like to make? Hearing none, let's move forward. Upcoming council meetings, Madam City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Bursna. We have on March 28th approved the contract for prosecution services. We may need to move that to April 11th just because of the time limit. Comprehensive plan ordinance will be there. We also, next meeting, would need to add the classification and compensation schedule ordinance for that to go, to add this, sorry, my brain is on beat, to add the positions that you approved tonight. And I think there's nothing else that is right in the top of our head, but I'm sure things will develop over the next week. Seems like we get everything right at the last minute.
We have no agenda items on our April 4 workshop.
And I don't have anything planned for that yet. I was hoping we could get through the public safety portion of the meeting today, and then use that as a workshop for everybody to come together to go over the public safety items.
That's possible.
Good idea.
But I was waiting for us to finish up in public safety committee first.
All right. Ma'am? Ms. Hart?
Yes, just going back to the safety committee meeting for just a second. One of the things, when we had our workshop, we had a presentation by Doc Stevens regarding crime numbers. I was more interested in finding out how Crime Watch works. And I wanted to know about that more in depth. Just how does it work? I mean, do you stand staring out your curtain window and then you call the police when you see something uncertain out in the front yard? I mean, we were really trying to promote see something, say something, and I think we need to continue to do that. And I'm sure that that is part of what you folks are going to be looking at as part of the Public Safety Committee. But also in working again to reinstate National Night Out and neighborhood watches. We really, I am a firm believer in those. I think they work. I think we just need to reintroduce them to our community. You know, if it's broke, let's fix it kind of a situation. So I just hope that you guys don't lose sight of those practical citizens kinds of things that we can do as well as the, you know, the punitive things that we can be doing, which we desperately need to be doing as well. I just don't want you to lose sight of that as well.
Lucy, 100%, Ms. Hart. Neighborhood Watch has proven successful over the decades that it's been implemented around the country. And I think it's vital. I think it's important for neighbors to know their neighbors, which is why National Night Out is so important. And I encourage us to have that happen again. I think that's a worthy enterprise. We're so busy anymore that often we don't know who our neighbors are. We don't recognize the cars because we don't know them. And so it's important to know who's there and what's going on without being overly nosy, because that's a temptation as well that we wish to avoid. And so, but knowing who your neighbors are, knowing what they drive, knowing their regular schedule. If you see some stranger there, it's important to at least have their phone number so you can call them and say, hey, so there's a car in your yard. Is this somebody who's supposed to be there? So, thank you for your comments. Council members, if you have items for the agenda, would ask that you please get them in. And it's all refresh my memory. When did we say we wanted those?
So we have, department heads required to have their stuff uploaded by Wednesday at 5 p.m. And that would be for the Monday meeting following. And I sent an email out to all department heads that when I arrived to work on Thursday at 8 a.m., if their folder was emptied, it was moved. So that is how we will be working in the future. So if we have something that needs to be on the agenda from council that staff needs to work on, we would at least need it the Wednesday, like the Wednesday before. Because it may be something that requires research. But if it's something that doesn't and it's a very small item, Wednesday at 5 o'clock the day before, then Wednesday before the meeting.
All right, council, did everybody hear that and understand that? All right, let's make sure we get that in a timely manner. Otherwise, it may be pushed back to the next meeting. So, but as council members, you are always able to add items and get them on the agenda. All right, next item is items from department heads. Madam City Manager.
And I'm going to start with Al Escalera and let him give his report, since he has probably the biggest things to report on, but it's touched on them a little bit, that I hope he has some good news somewhere.
I do. I think the majority of the people that have been fighting the coronavirus are back, except for one. And she is back via Zoom, so that's still good. The police department is also, gearing up for Cinco de Mayo. We're looking at those things and getting ready, which is hopefully something that's going to be a go this year. We'll see how that goes. And if so, then that's my favorite event of the year. I really enjoy that. And so we are doing that. We do have some folks that are currently in training. We have one that we're still working with pretty hard. Hopefully they will. But right now we are still working on trying to fill our positions that we are knowingly going to have that are currently funded. So we are basically getting some folks background checks done and hopefully get some new hires on. So very soon.
Mrs. Warner?
I have a couple things. Thank you, Madam City Manager. So, I wanted to we talked briefly at the last meeting about the Yakima Waste contract coming up. The contract expires on April 15th. And so we have our first meeting with Yakima Waste to start setting out what we're looking at in the new contract. And it seems like it may take a little more work than we were planning. So we may come to you at the next meeting or the following one to request just like a interim, maybe 90-day extension to the contract that we have now while we still work through some of the issues on the other contracts. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. Also under review is the IT contract with Yakima County, and now that you've made your decision regarding the IT staff, I will definitely get to work on that right away with them tomorrow and let them know where we're at with that so we can start redoing that contract as well. I wanted to let you know that you guys did allocate $300,000 out of the ARPA funding last year to cover 2021 and 2022 utility billing assistance for residents. And at this point, we've made it halfway through our money. So we have now spent $149,000 of that ARPA assistance money directly to our residents in town to help them catch up on their utility bills. So that is great. And then I want to let you know that Gwen Weeder, our recreation coordinator, I am sure was listening to this entire meeting at home with her fingers crossed about her recreation receptionist part-time, and I know she is probably sending personal thanks to all of your way. She is an amazing asset to the city, and so I know that given time, she will do an exceptional job at developing the different programs that we can offer. And so I just kind of wanted to give you a breakdown just in the next, up through June, kind of the things that she has going on in the works at this time. So the next thing coming up is on April 2nd, there'll be the Easter egg hunt from noon to 12 out at the community center, the park out there in the baseball field area. And then she is going to do on April 8th, a movie night in the park where and I know it's gonna be a little cold, so we're gonna get some outdoor heaters, and she's gonna sell some concessions from the window at the community center, but she's going to show Disney's Encanto from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. That's gonna be free. The Easter egg hunt is gonna be free as well. That's April 8th from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. On April 16th, which is the day before Easter, she is organizing a Easter bunny meet and greet bunny brunch. That will cost $2 per plate for people to come and meet the Easter bunny, take some selfies, and sit and have Easter bunny shaped pancakes, eggs, bacon, that kind of stuff. And that will be basically, because we have limited space and it's the first year we're doing it, she's asking people to call her and make reservations, just so she knows how many people to expect at different times, since this will be the very first inaugural bunny brunch. Then on to May, on May 21st, she is organizing a family dance, which is kind of a play on the father-daughter dance, but allowing more, maybe moms and sons as well and all of that. So that family dance is going to cost $10 per pair, child and whatever adult they're bringing with them at the community center. And then again, that was May 21st. June 11th is when the swimming pool opens. And then June 20th will be that first day of our day camp that she is organizing. So she's very, very busy, and I know she will be very thankful for you guys providing her that extra staff member. That's all I got.
Jameson, I remember one of my favorite memories of my trips through Mexico. I was in the state of Chiapas, and I was sitting on a city square eating at an outdoor restaurant, and there was a live band in the plaza in front of the church, and there was an entire family dancing together, mom, dad, 3 kids. And the kids were standing on mom and dad's feet as they danced so that they could get the moves right, and it just looked like they were having so much fun. So I think this is going to be a real hit.
And I partook in a father-daughter dance when I was a kid, and it's one of my favorite memories from back then too. So I'm really glad to know that she's working on that. I think it'll be a really good time. And it's great to get the community back involved, and she is so passionate about what she does. So we're very lucky to have her.
Fire Chief Anderson.
Thank you, Madam City Manager, Mayor, and council members. I have nothing.
I do believe on Thursday night, though, there is gonna be something at Varietal with someone that plays in a band at the fire department.
Yeah, I didn't get the details on that, though.
Yeah, but I wanna say one of our firefighters' bands is going to be at Varietal on Thursday. Bring your green so you don't get pinched.
Ooh, what?
Saturday at that union, so they were doing some fundraiser or something.
Can I interject here on the firefighter guy with the band?
Sure.
I just wanted to mention, and I should have mentioned it earlier, but the Lions Club are going to be serving first responder dinner on March the 23rd at the fire station. Our World Food Champion and Pacific Northwest Barbecue Association members are going to be doing pulled pork. And so we're doing that. Those of you who are not maybe first responders but love a good meal, come on down. It's going to start about 6:30, I think, maybe earlier, but there'll be lots of food. So pop in, try out the food. Make sure all the firefighters are there, Ken.
I will, thank you.
Yeah, and Chief Al, you still there?
Yes.
Send some of your guys over too. We'll make sure that the guys back at the home base will get some food as well.
Nice, we appreciate that.
No problem. We love doing it. Sorry, just a little advertisement for the Lions Club. I'll pay the fine later.
And Mr. Shuttleworth, would you like to comment or say anything?
I don't really have any comments, just happy Pi Day. Kind of a nerd side coming out.
Oh, Pi Day.
I've forgotten that, thanks for the reminder, sir.
Apple pie.
And now remotely, I will offer Mr. Fisher a chance to speak.
Is he there? Is he there?
So with that, City Clerk Grandia, do you have anything to report in the clerk's office?
I do. Safeway invited council to their grand opening ceremony on Wednesday, March 30th at 10 a.m. And I sent an email out to council. I've received a response from Councilor Beeler, but I'll follow up with everybody tomorrow if you plan on attending.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's it for me.
Okay, so now I would like to report out that tomorrow at noon, I will be leaving for the ICMA conference. Chief Escalera will be acting as city manager while I'm gone. I expect to be back home by Friday. In City Hall, we have everybody happy, no masks, and I think all departments are very feeling like that stifling thing on your face is now gone and we can breathe a little easier. Otherwise, business as usual. Everybody's working together to make sure that we problem solve. And we've been doing interviews and just all kinds of stuff trying to get positions filled. And overall, I think the health and the welfare of our city employees is in good shape. So I wanted to report that. And then I also wanted to thank council for such a good review. It's gonna be hard to live up to that one, but I'm going to. And I look forward to city contract next and take that interim off my name.
Yes. We look forward to that too, madam. All right, well, thank you, everybody. There being no further business to come before council and without objection, I adjourn this meeting then at 8:05 p.m. Good night, everybody, and thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night, Julia. Julia, how do I get this evaluation to you?
It is silent.
Pardon?
How do I get this evaluation?